Hello, hello, everyone. Welcome to Live with Cami. This is Cami Wanis, the Freedom Scholar here. And I am so excited because today we are talking about curriculum. We're specifically talking about all in one curriculum. And all in one curriculum is a very, very popular topic these days, especially with the start of the new school year. And so we're going to talk a little bit about why should we or should we not choose all in one curriculum and how most of the time, like 99.9% of the time, it will not get you lifelong learning. And I'm going to venture to say that that would be like, oh my gosh, one in a million if it did. We're going to talk about that because it's such a go to thing for parents. And we're going to talk about why that is too. And we're going to talk about what should we actually look for in a curriculum? Like what okay, if we don't choose that, then what do we do? We're going to talk about that too. So, I'm excited. I'm going to go ahead and just check to make sure I'm live and that my audio is on. If you watched me last week, you know that my audio was not on. And it was quite interesting for a little while. So, we are good to go. I think we are ready and everything. If you can hear me, go ahead and put a little comment and just say, hey, we can hear you. That way I know that we are all good to go, you guys. This is exciting. Oh my gosh. I'm going to go ahead and click on this. You might hear this. Let's see here. Let's see. I'm going to click on it and it will be bigger and then we can be good. So, okay. How do I do it? Yeah. Say a little hello in the oh, I know the and we are so excited about curriculum today. I'm juiced. It is a topic that is all over all the homeschooling groups, and it is something that is going to be, just really on everybody's mind as we start the school year. So, something that I want you to know, first off, is that it's natural to want an all-in-one curriculum. It's natural. It's normal because it's what we were what we used in school, right? It's what we had in school. So that's the first thing that I want you to understand. That if you're looking for an all-in-one curriculum, don't feel bad about it because, hey, it's natural for us to want that because it's what we know. It's familiar. It's what we had in school. We all had a curriculum for every single subject. So, and we're not saying curriculum, I mean formal curriculum. We're going to talk more about that in just a little bit, but it's totally natural. But guess what? It won't get you lifelong learning. And I'm going to talk about this. So, you guys, I see it all over Facebook. I see it all over Instagram. I want a curriculum. I'm looking for something that's easy. They want to push the easy button, right? That's easy. That's open and go, they call it, right? I want something that's really checking all the boxes so that my kids don't have gaps, so that they know I know that we're covering everything we quote unquote need to cover. Now, you guys know that I talk a lot about the educational should. The educational should, if you don't know, go to my podcast and listen to episode number 6. But it's basically that idea that we should be doing this at this time, we should be doing this, at this age, we should be learning from, about, in California, we learn about California, the California mission system at in a grade 4, right? So that's like all those shoulds. We should be doing math every day. We should be doing, this and we should have this and all of these shoulds, right? This many hours, this many minutes, we should have curriculum for every single subject. All of these shoulds that are put on us that we feel ourselves, it's not actually the truth about learning, about real learning, and it's not how you get to lifelong learning. So listen to that episode number 6 on the podcast and just think to yourself, where's that shit coming from? Do we really need it and why? Where is it coming from? Is it going to create the results, the end results when the kids are 18, when they're leaving the house, when they're becoming out, adults out in the world? Is that going to create the adults that I want to create, right? That's how you guys, that's exactly why I start with the end in mind always. That's what makes me different from any other homeschool coach is I start with the end. Who do we want to create? Kind of person, and then let's go backwards from there. So it's really normal for us to think because that question, "Who do we wanna start with?" Who in mind, right? Never gets asked in public education. It never gets asked in education in general. So, if we're not used to thinking that way, then it's natural for us to say, "Hey, I just want something that checks all my boxes." Guess what? You guys, if you heard me before, you know that checking boxes leads to what? What does it lead to? It leads to followers and not leaders. It leads to we're gonna talk more about that in just a second, but it's totally natural, right, to want that because that's what we've been taught. That's what we know, and we're afraid also that we don't wanna fail our kids, and so that we think if we follow a curriculum that's already mapped out for us, then we won't miss anything because we're not so sure that we can do this ourselves. Totally natural, totally normal, but guess what? You got this, and you can do it if you focus on the end in mind, and it helps to have someone to talk to to make sure that we're getting you to the right place, right? And so and also thinking about the fact that, hey, we had gaps. I know I had gaps when I was learning in school. I went into public education as a teacher and did not felt vastly unprepared for what I was doing, not only in terms of being a teacher, but also in terms of my education. It's and I was a good box checker. I really was in school. I only did what I needed to do to get A's, and I was a box checker, mostly A's, some B's, but really, I did that, and I didn't do anymore because I was a good box checker, and I think some of you can relate to that, right? And some of you weren't good box checkers, and that's great too. Actually, you have a little lesson learning to do than the rest of us, but another reason why these curriculums, these all-in-one what do I mean by all-in-one? I didn't even say that, but let's define that. The all-in-one curriculums are really the ones that have every single subject, right? You have, you know, you can pick just sign up with that school and or that curriculum, and you can get all your subjects covered. That's really what I'm talking about, okay? So whether it be a book or online or whatever the case, that's an all-in-one curriculum, okay? So, the other reason why people love all-in-one curriculums is for record keeping purposes because especially for online, you know you got your boxes checked, you can just say, "Yep, we did 1 year of math, we did 1 year of language arts, we did 1 year of history, and we did 1 year of science," right? We can check that box off. And if we're doing it online, they even probably give transcripts too, and they give us grades, which makes me feel happy. By the way, you guys know I've said this before, you don't need grades before high school, okay? So don't even go there, you don't need grades before high school. No one cares about grades before high school. Oh my gosh, it's so crazy. So it's really, really normal for people to want the easy button to push something that's familiar, something that fills our fears about not being good enough as a teacher, as an educator for our children to make sure they get everything they're gonna need. That is like, phrase I hear all the time, "Get everything you need," right? But here's the caveat, you guys. Those curriculum create, as I said, box checking. They generally lower love of learning. They do not start and allow for greater inspiration of learning. Okay? So it's really that loss of love of learning is so key. You guys, it's basically creating school at home. And when you recreate school at home, you're getting the results of what school had. Okay, you might not have the bullying, you might not have the social aspect, but you're getting the same results as far as love of learning goes, okay? And I know that's hard to hear, and it's a bold statement, and I really stand by that. It is something I've seen over and over and over, and it is something I know to be true for both education purposes in school and in homeschool. You guys, I've worked with so many parents that this has happened, and I did it myself. Do you remember my story when we first started doing 1st grade? I was like, "We're gonna learn about all these workbooks and everything," and then all of a sudden, his level of learning dropped, and I was like, "What is happening?" I couldn't get him to do very much. I got frustrated. He was frustrated. We were both crying every day. It was miserable, and I was losing sleep. It was I get it. I get it. That whole love of learning is hard, and when you are doing an all-in-one curriculum It lowers love, you guys. Especially the online, especially the online, because there's not a lot of wiggle room there. It's not a lot of space for freedom. You guys know I'm the freedom scholar, right? Well, it's also freedom means a lot of things in education. It also means freedom to learn. The freedom to learn. I know that sounds weird. They are free to learn. What are you talking about? Well, free to learn, it means a lot of things. It means having the time and the freedom to go outside of the boxes that we're checking and learn further, which actually you guys know if you've listened to Kenyon a couple weeks ago, my son, when he came on this live, he talked about the freedom to learn, right? And how that, oh my gosh, he actually learns more. I'm getting ahead of myself here, but basically, here's the problem with the all-in-ones. The box checking tells them when to learn, it tells them when to think, sometimes even how to think, a lot of times, and it tells them when learning happens and when it doesn't. Learning happens in the textbook, it happens in the curriculum, it happens online, it doesn't happen other places, real learning, right? And so it creates followers, it creates box checkers because they're waiting for someone to tell them when to learn, when to think, where to learn. See what I mean? It's a little tricky, I understand, but it's really something that you need to think about if you're trying to create lifelong learners and leaders that go out in the world and use their passions, gifts, and talents to make this world better in whatever way touches their soul. All-in-one curriculum's not gonna do it for you. I'm sorry, it's not. It's just not. I know it's the easy button, but guess what? It actually ends up not being the easy button, even though that's what we're looking for initially, because the long term, even short term, it didn't take my son very long when we were in 1st grade doing stuff to really lower his level of learning. It took a matter of, like, maybe a week or 2, and then it everything was hard. Everything was more stressful. Tears every day, frustration, complaining, me nagging. You guys get it, you've been there. I know you have. So, when low love of learning is in your home, everything is harder. When love of learning is high, everything is easier. And so, when you're lowering love of learning through all this online trying to check the easy button box, actually creating more stressful situations for yourself, not even counting the long-term effects, but we're talking about short-term effects. You're only creating a frustrating situation, okay? I totally get it, and and then you start looking for more curriculum. You start looking for, "Well, that one didn't work for us. Let's look for a different one." If that sounds like you, if you've been in this place, if you don't know what to do, "Well, where do I go from here?" You We need to talk, you guys. That's what I'm here for. I love, love, love helping you get to the place where love of learning is high, and you get to stay there, okay? And helping you choose curriculum, getting routines down, habits, and learning expectations, and rebuilding that love of learning, even if it's messed up already, that's my jam. That's where I thrive. So let's chat. Get on a call with me, message me. You guys know how to reach me. You can email me. There's also a link to my calendar below, so you can just click on that. You can set up a free call. Let's talk, you guys. This is my mission. My purpose is to raise love of learning for everyone so that we can have a much more joyous educational experience, but also so that we can create those leaders that go out and change the world and make this world better. Gosh, we need that, right? So here's what you need to do. So not only do we need to just, first of all, definitely get in touch with me, but also we need to think about unlearning the educational should, number 1. So let's unlearn that educational should. Let's think about, where is that coming from? What do I What do I really need this for? Like, do we really have to do math every day? We don't. you know, do I have to do, this certain subject, do I have to have a curriculum for everything? No. Could you? Sure. Be careful with that though, especially at younger age levels. You can really get I've never met a workbook page that was like, "Oh, this is the best workbook page I've ever seen." Have you? I haven't. I never, ever, and I've seen a lot of workbook pages in my life. A lot of workbook pages, but and I've created them. I've made them, but I've never, ever seen one that is like, "Ooh, this is the most amazing thing," right? And sometimes parents with their little kids really well, my 3-year-old, my 5-year-old loves workbook pages. Yeah, I'm gonna say something a little bit hard to you right now. They probably do love them, but not because they like the workbook page. They like your reaction to them doing the workbook page and them being so smart and them being so they makes us feel good as parents. I totally get it. I felt the same way. I really I every time my kid accomplishes something, I'm like, "I feel so great." But is it really because he wants it or because I love that he's doing? And if you feel better as a parent because I'm checking a box, and I'm doing a good job parenting, right? Okay, I know that's a little hard to hear, but think about the educational should. I really want you to think about that. And then also and if you need help with that, I am your girl. I am the serious, like, unlearner of the educational should master. So let's talk about that, and I help parents with that all the time. That is part of our Inspiring Lifelong Learning program. And then think about what curriculum really is. I have a whole talk on this on curriculum way back in the episodes, way back. You can still watch it on Facebook and YouTube and in the podcast if you want to. But what is curriculum really? Curriculum is a tool. It's a tool that helps us learn things. It's information sometimes and a tool, right? Information is a tool, really. But what is the message that we're sending with the all-in-one curriculum? The message we're sending with all-in-one curriculum, again, is here's where we learn, here's what we learn, and here's how we learn. Not, what are my 2 mantras, you guys? Learning happens everywhere all the time, and homeschooling is learning through life, right? Curriculum is it's all around you, it's in your discussions, it's everywhere. So, thinking about a formula curriculum because that's what we know and we're familiar with is just a change in your perspective, a change in thinking, and we work on that a lot in identifying what curriculums are. So I actually just talked to a woman, yesterday, a mom yesterday, she's absolutely fantabulous, and she is such her 16-year-old is amazing. Like, he's a performer, a high level performer, like a professional athlete kind of performer, and he's an entrepreneur. I mean, it's crazy. Like, he doesn't have time for school, right? But she didn't even realize that stuff he was already doing is actually learning, is actually curriculum, and that was a huge breakthrough for her, and I'm so excited for her to learn more about that. She's juiced. I'm so excited. It's so fun. So and the next thing you need to know about curriculum is that it should inspire further study. It should be the spark that inspires further study. So, is it something where it creates curiosity? Well, gosh, like my son the other day was listening to I told a couple of parents about this already. Was it yesterday? I think it was the day before. He was actually listening to a leadership CD, which he does normally, and on his own, he just takes out a leadership CD. We have a ton of them because we are very invested in learning about leadership principles and applying them, and so that's just part of our culture. So he takes out a leadership CD and puts it in and listens to it. They talk about the Articles of Confederation in there. He's like, wonder about that. So on his own, he comes in, he takes out the book that has the Articles of Confederation in it. He sits down, reads the Articles of Confederation, and reads the Constitution, compares and contrasts the 2, comes in, has a huge discussion with me about why it failed, where some of the things are, and how the Constitution actually is weaker in this area than the Articles was, but and how oh my gosh, it is crazy, right? Further study. This was like a 2-hour endeavor that was amazing. It might even been more than that. It was incredible, but that wasn't in a formal curriculum. An all-in-one curriculum would have stifled him and told him, "Okay, this is all you need to learn about this. Now we can learn about something else. That's a little hard to hear, right? I know. It's a little hard to hear. But and think about a curriculum that starts with their interests. Think about something that starts with what they wanna learn about. I mean, especially at younger ages, oh my gosh, seriously, we never wanna learn about stuff we don't care about. Who wants to do that? Nobody. I know at work, when I was teaching, I didn't wanna learn about things I didn't care about. I didn't teach math, I didn't care about I do care about but and I do care about math in the larger scheme of things, but I didn't learn how to teach it, right? I mean, come on, right? So, start there, and then check out the episode that I did with Kenyon a couple weeks ago. I know I mentioned this before, but seriously, you guys, it was so fun. It was so fun, it was so amazing. Hi, Lori, good to see you. And so that is exactly what I want you guys to see the result of lifelong learning. It was about lifelong learning results, and he was talking about what helped us get there. And so check that out, and then I want you to talk to me. I want you to call me, I wanna talk to you. My greatest joy of the day is talking to parents and seeing that spark, like I saw in that awesome mama yesterday, she's like, "You blew my mind right there. Are you kidding me? Oh my gosh, we've been struggling and struggling, and he doesn't like all the schoolwork and doesn't like all this stuff, and yeah, of course he doesn't, 'cause he's killing it in other areas, and so we just need to be able to wrap that around so he can study and do deeper study and further study and then do rabbit trails on top of that, and even for high school, did you know you could do that for high school? Oh my gosh, I'm getting super excited about this. So and then I talk to parents all the time too that say, "Well, we tried this curriculum," and even this mom yesterday, she said, "We tried this online curriculum, and then we tried this online curriculum, and then that didn't work, and then we're gonna go to this school that's part-time homeschool, part-time in person, and then we're gonna" and I'm like, "Man, see, you what happens is you start looking for other things that are gonna be the fix with you're gonna find nothing if love of learning is low, nothing, no curriculum will be your fix. Gotta get that love of learning high, and when it's high, you have my son over here pulling out a history textbook that we just inherited to look for things that he's been studying and he wants to do more research in. He's like, "I think this book" I watched him, I'm like, what are you doing?" And he's like, "Oh, I think this book because it's world history, this one will probably have the information that I need that I'm looking for." And I'm like, "I'm kinda doubt it because it's a textbook and they don't go very deep, but hey, go for it, look in it, what do you whatever you find." He did find some things in there, not exactly what he was looking what I want you to do. I want you to make sure that you're, like, thinking about how can we pull in more inspiration, and when love of learning is high, everything is easier and you get more learning. When love of learning is low, like with these all-in-one curriculums, it just stifles, it puts you in a box. It puts the students in a box and says, "This is the box you can think and learn." And so what message do we wanna send about that? You guys, it's one of my biggest pet peeves when I hear parents online, and if it's you, I'm totally sorry, it's just one of my pet peeves because I feel like I need to get this message out there further, which is why I'm talking about this today. When I see parents that are like, "I just want something that's open and go. I don't wanna have to, I'm afraid I'm not gonna check all my boxes, so I gotta have an all-in-one." And, I wanna lose my mind. I wanna lose my mind. So, you guys, this is exactly what we teach in Inspiring Lifelong Learning Program. This is exactly what we teach. This is what I teach you how to do, is to create the culture and the environment to where that stuff is happening all the time. That lifelong learning is high, giving you the skills to keep it high, and then maintaining it throughout your homeschool journey. It is so amazing when it happens. I can't even tell you the most beautiful situations that I have all the time. Last night, we were just talking about how Kenyon can be a better leader in leading discussions like he does in his scout troop, because right now he's the head scout. And so he's trying to lead these discussions and he's like, "It's so frustrating. They're all doing all different things." And I was like, "Okay, well, let's talk about how to be what would a great leader do?" And so we had this huge conversation about it, and he was like, "Oh, that's so much better. Then I don't have to, like, admonish people for like, 'Hey, can you stop talking about other stuff?' And we can actually manage it you in a much better way. It's so amazing, you guys. He sought that out. He was like, "Okay, here's how it went. How do you think I can do better because this was a problem?" What? What 15-year-old does that? So fun. It's so fun. What 15-year-old does all this study by himself? It is a high level of love of learning, and it is a different perspective, and it takes a while, and it took me years, but it doesn't have to take you that long because that's what we do in Inspiring Lifelong Learning. We get you to that point where you are in a groove. You guys, I can't wait to talk to you. I'm so excited to get in touch with you and help blow the minds off of that educational should and really set you up with learning happens everywhere all the time and hopefully learning through life kind of culture in your homeschool. I'm super excited. You guys check, the links down below. They are already in there for you to get in touch with me, and there are lots of ways. You can always just message me if you want to privately, or you can comment below here. Okay, you guys, I will talk to you next week. I am so excited for your start of the next school year whenever you decide to start that, and definitely, definitely make sure that we're rethinking what message we're sending. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.